Hey, let me tell you something that many people don't realize. Have you ever found yourself looking at the clock exactly when it strikes 11:11 and thought, wow, it's a sign from the universe? Or maybe you overheard a phrase from someone and thought, that's exactly what I needed to hear. If you've done this, don't worry. Everyone has fallen into that trap. And do you know the secret that almost no one tells you? The universe doesn't send hidden messages. It speaks directly to you from within you. Imagine you have a magic compass inside your chest. It knows before any number, coincidence, or external proof which path is right for you. And when you learn to listen to this compass, life begins to transform in a way that almost seems like magic. Today, I'm going to show you how to recognize this inner voice, how to trust it, and how to stop waiting for signs from the outside world. Because the truth is simple and powerful. The sign you're looking for isn't out there, it's inside of you. The universe doesn't speak through signs, it speaks through you. Imagine you're walking down the street, feeling a bit lost about an important decision. Then, suddenly, a car passes by with a license plate full of repeating numbers, or someone says a phrase that seems to fit exactly what you were thinking. Right away, you think, there it is. The universe is sending me a sign. But let me tell you a secret. That's not quite how it works. The universe isn't hiding behind coincidences, trying to send enigmatic little notes. It has a much more direct way of speaking to you. It speaks through you, through your intuition, through that quiet gut feeling that appears deep in your chest even before you have any proof. External signs might be beautiful and inspiring, but they aren't the main guide. The true guide is internal. And when you learn to listen to this guide, you realize you had the answer all along. Synchronicities are real and beautiful, but relying on them too much can delay necessary internal changes. Lord, have you ever noticed how sometimes strange things happen? For example, you think of someone and a moment later, they send you a message, or you're unsure about something and suddenly you see a phrase on a billboard that seems to answer your exact question. This is what we call synchronicity. And yes, they are magical, they are beautiful, and they are a sign that something greater is organizing everything. But here's the point. If you become dependent only on these coincidences, you can end up stalling your own evolution, because instead of looking inward, you keep looking outward, waiting for the next sign to appear before you gather the courage to act. It's like you're standing in the middle of a road waiting for flashing signs to fall from the sky, telling you, go this way. Meanwhile, your heart already knows the direction, and every time you postpone, relying only on what happens outside, you fail to make the internal shift that will truly transform your life. Intuition is the primary quantum signal, a silent inner frequency that knows where you should go. You know that quiet little voice inside you that shows up without asking for permission? Sometimes it's just a feeling, a flutter in your stomach, a sudden calm, a yes or a no that you can't explain with words. That is your intuition. Think of it as a kind of invisible compass that is already pointing where you need to go, while logic needs to analyze, compare, and calculate. Intuition already knows the destination. It's like a secret radio station, broadcasting silently, just for you, an inner frequency, connecting you to possibilities that haven't even happened yet, but that already exist as potential. And when you tune into this frequency, everything suddenly seems to align. This is the true quantum signal. It's not outside, it's not on road signs, it's not in numbers on a clock. It's inside you, waiting for you to trust it even before the proof appears. When you follow this inner knowing, even if it doesn't make sense on paper or if others think it's risky, things begin to align afterward. Has it ever happened to you that you made a decision that, at the time, seemed crazy? Maybe quitting a job, ending a relationship, or saying yes to an opportunity that, on paper, made no sense at all. And yet, something inside you said, go, trust it. In that moment, others might have looked at you and thought, that's risky. It makes no logical sense. But the curious thing is that when you follow that inner compass, the universe begins to move. Paths appear. The right people cross your road. And what once seemed impossible starts to fall into place. It's like taking a step in the dark and suddenly seeing the entire staircase light up afterward. The alignment doesn't happen before your choice. It happens because of your choice. That's the power of trusting your inner knowing. Reality only reveals its doors after you have the courage to turn the knob. Waiting for signs sends a message of hesitation, acting on your inner signal, even before external proof, allows reality to align with your choice. Imagine someone standing on the side of the road, waiting for a bus that might never come. He keeps looking one way, then the other, asking for a sign that it's time to cross. Meanwhile, life is happening on the other side, and he remains stuck, trapped in waiting. This is exactly what happens when you only act if an external sign appears. This waiting sends a clear message to the universe. Hesitation. It's as if you're saying, I don't trust myself. I need something outside of me to prove it to me first. But when you decide to move based on your internal signal, even without proof, it's as if the universe understands. He has chosen, she has decided, and then everything begins to bend, to align, to make space for your decision to gain momentum. Reality doesn't bend to doubt, it bends to clarity. And that clarity doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. Neuroscience shows that much of our processing happens below conscious awareness. What we call intuition is the body detecting patterns and probabilities faster than logical thought. You know when you walk into a room and without being able to explain why, you feel that something isn't right. Or when you meet someone for the first time and within seconds you already feel trust or distrust without even having exchanged many words. That isn't magic. It's your brain working behind the scenes. Neuroscience has discovered that our body picks up thousands of pieces of information that the conscious mind doesn't even notice. Facial expressions, tones of voice, small details in the environment. All of this is registered and processed in silence. And even before your logic can make calculations, the body has already sent an alert or a green light. This is why intuition is so powerful. It's like a hidden supercomputer running in the background, connecting invisible dots and delivering quick answers. The logical mind needs time, but intuition is instantaneous. In other words, that gut feeling or that sudden calm, they aren't nonsense. They are legitimate signals that your body has already perceived something that your mind hasn't understood yet. Physics, a quantum perspective, suggests that our consciousness is entangled with future possibilities. Intuition is the echo of future potentials reaching you. Think about this with me. What if the future wasn't a single, pre-made road, but rather a set of possible paths, like multiple trails in a vast field? Every choice you make is like a step that opens up one of those trails. Quantum physics suggests exactly this, that we live surrounded by possibilities, all coexisting until you choose one. And guess who gives you clues as to which path is already resonating with you? Your intuition. It's as if the future whispers before it becomes the present. Intuition is this early echo, a kind of preview of the reality that can materialize. That's why when you feel that inexplicable urge to call someone, to change your route, to say yes or no, it's not random. It could be a potential future trying to reach you, asking for just one thing: trust. Ignoring inner whispers keeps you searching for proof outside. Trusting them instantly shifts a potential future into the one that aligns with your inner state. Have you ever noticed that when you don't trust that gut feeling, you end up in a cycle of endless searching? It's like you're always waiting for someone or something outside to confirm what, deep down, you already knew. Ignoring your inner whispers is like holding a lit flashlight in your hand and still asking someone else to turn on the light for you. You already have the answer, but you don't believe in it. And when that happens, you live trapped by external proof, numbers, coincidences, opinions, random signs. Meanwhile, the future that could be yours gets further and further away. Now, when you decide to trust these whispers, something magical happens. The future ceases to be just a possibility and begins to transform into reality. It's as if the choice aligned with your heart pulls the version of life that was already waiting for you closer. Living from awareness, resonance instead of fear, calms doubt, directionlessness, and the anxiety of waiting. You know that feeling of always chasing after something without ever feeling completely secure or certain? That happens when we live guided by fear, by doubt, or by the need for external proof. Living from awareness, on the other hand, is different. It's like tuning your own internal radio to a calm frequency instead of trying to pick up confusing signals from the outside world. When you are in resonance with yourself, at peace, aligned with what you feel, anxiety disappears. Doubt loses its power, the direction becomes clear, and that feeling of waiting for the right moment simply dissolves. Because when you are aware, you are the right moment. It's as if the universe no longer needs to prove anything to you. It simply reflects back the clarity you've already found within yourself. Stillness and silence are portals where intuition can be heard. Both spiritual and modern quantum thinkers point out that these states allow for internal coherence, which then manifests externally. Imagine your mind is like a lake. When there's wind and stones are being thrown, the water becomes murky and you can't see the bottom. Silence, stillness are like calming the lake. The water becomes crystal clear and you can see even what is hidden at the very bottom. It's in this state of calm that your intuition speaks loudest. What was once just a whisper becomes clear guidance, an internal compass showing you the way. Quantum and spiritual thinkers call this internal coherence. When you are aligned with yourself, the world around you begins to reflect that clarity. In other words, life starts to manifest in the way you already feel inside. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is the space where your own wisdom finds its voice. Synchronicities don't stop when you start trusting your internal signals. Instead, they multiply. But now, they confirm what you already knew. You know those coincidences you used to find magical, the ones that kept you stuck, waiting for the next sign? When you start to follow your intuition, something interesting happens. Those coincidences don't disappear, but now they have a different role. They stop being invitations or external proofs, and they become confirmations. It's as if the universe says, "See, you already knew. I'm just showing you that you're on the right path." It's a bit like planting a seed. At first, you care for it without seeing anything happen. Then, the first green sprout emerges, and each new growth isn't a surprise. It's just confirmation that the seed was alive all along. When you trust your inner guide, synchronicities become an echo of what you've already chosen to be, not crutches to justify action. Logic and analysis are useful, but they are limited. Logic processes what is already known. Intuition has access to what can be. Think about this. Logic is like a flashlight in a dark room. It illuminates everything in front of you, what you can already see and understand. It's great for making decisions based on facts, numbers, and past experiences. Intuition, on the other hand, is like seeing through walls. It captures possibilities that haven't happened yet, paths that don't yet exist in the physical world, but can manifest if you choose to follow them. That's why sometimes logic says, "Don't do it, it makes no sense," while intuition says, "Go, trust it." Following only logic is safe, but limited. Following intuition is risky, but that's how you access the new, the potential, the possible that doesn't exist for everyone yet, but already exists for you. Studies show that people whose emotional, intuitive brain areas are damaged can analyze well, but struggle to choose, indicating that intuition isn't opposed to intelligence, but is a form of intelligence beyond linear thought. Imagine a person who is incredible with numbers, logic, and planning. They can analyze any situation, create perfect strategies, predict scenarios, but when it's time to decide, they freeze. Not because they lack knowledge, but because they're missing that inner voice that says, "This is the right path for you." Science explains this. Certain regions of the brain process intuitive and emotional information. When these areas don't function properly, a person can understand everything, but they can't feel what's right. In other words, intuition isn't against intelligence. It's another kind of intelligence, one that goes beyond linear reasoning, connecting you to possibilities and decisions that logic can't yet see. It's like having a detailed map of the city, but also an internal GPS that shows you the fastest route, even if it's not on the map. Quantum theories, like the participatory universe hypothesis, suggest that reality isn't fully fixed. Until observation, choice, intuition is experiencing future possibilities before logic catches up to them. Think of a blank canvas filled with infinite possible colors and images. Before you choose, everything exists as a possibility, but nothing is truly defined. Quantum physics suggests that reality works in a similar way. It only sets when you make a conscious choice, when you observe, and decide to act. And that's where intuition comes in. It acts as a preview of what can become real. It's like watching a trailer of the future before it happens. While logic needs to wait for concrete evidence, intuition already senses the paths that are forming. When you follow your intuition, you're not just making decisions, you're actively participating in the creation of your own reality. External noise, notifications, comparisons, overstimulation drowns out intuition. Reducing the noise allows the subtle inner signals to be heard. You know when you're trying to listen to a soft piece of music, but there's a lot of noise around you. The melody gets lost, you can't feel the details, and the experience is no longer clear. It's exactly the same with intuition. If your mind is filled with notifications, comparisons to others, worries, and constant stimulation, the inner signals get drowned out. They become just a whisper in the midst of chaos, almost impossible to notice. But when you reduce the noise, silence your phone, take a break from social media, pause, something magical happens. That inner voice, once almost inaudible, begins to speak clearly. The gut feelings, sensations, and small intuitions stand out again, guiding you reliably. It's like opening the windows of a closed room and letting the fresh air in. Your own wisdom can finally breathe and manifest itself. The body is not just passive, it holds pre-conscious signals, pre-signals, before the conscious mind is aware of a decision. These manifest as subtle sensations, gut feelings, sudden calm, excitement, and are significant. You know that strange feeling that comes out of nowhere? A flutter in your stomach before a decision, a tightness in your chest when you enter a place, or an unexpected calm when you think about something important. These are the body's pre-signals. It perceives patterns, possibilities, and information that the conscious mind hasn't registered yet. It's as if your body has a secret radar, giving you clues even before you can rationalize the situation. Most people ignore these signals, thinking they are just in their head. But they are valuable. They are like small flashlights that illuminate the path before logic turns on the main light. When you learn to recognize and trust these subtle signals, you begin to act with more precision and confidence. The body already knows the way. You just need to listen. Manifestation happens before physical action or external proof. It begins with internal coherence, clarity, decision, and resonance. Synchronicities are an echo of this. You know when you decide to plant a tree? Before you see the first leaf, before you water it, even before you dig the hole, the seed already carries within it the full potential to grow. It's the same with manifestation. Before any external proof, before the money appears, the opportunity arises, or the right person arrives. Everything begins within you, in your clarity, in your decision, in the alignment between what you feel and what you desire. Synchronicities, those coincidences that seem magical, are not the cause of manifestation. They are the echo, the reflection of what you have already decided internally. The universe is just confirming, yes, you are on the right path. Keep going. Everything starts within you. The rest is just reality adjusting to your vibration. A 3-step practice to train your recognition of internal signals. If listening to your intuition seems difficult, there's a simple way to start. 3 steps to train your internal radar. 1. Quiet the interference. Breathe deeply, silence your mind, and relax your body. It's like cleaning a foggy window. Only then can you clearly see the subtle signals. 2. Tune into the feeling, not the thought. Instead of trying to analyze every detail, notice small sensations in your body, a gut feeling, a slight excitement, or that unexpected calm. Your body knows before your mind, and that's where the signal comes through. 3. Act quickly on the signal. When you feel the impulse, even a small one, follow it. Don't overthink. Don't wait for external proof. Small actions guided by intuition are like lighting a flame that will illuminate the entire path. With consistent practice, you'll find that following your internal signal becomes natural, fast, and reliable. Suggested exercise: 10 minutes of heart-centered awareness and signal observation. Here is a very simple exercise you can do today. 1. Set aside 10 minutes without interruptions. 2. Sit or lie down comfortably, close your eyes, and bring your attention to your heart. Don't force anything. Just feel what is already present. Emotions, impressions, small internal signals. 3. After these 10 minutes, go about your day normally. 4. Over the next 24 hours, pay attention to small synchronicities, gut feelings, and impulses. They may appear as subtle sensations, unexpected encounters, or ideas that seem to come out of nowhere. The goal is to train your internal perception. The more you practice, the faster you learn to recognize what comes from your own internal radar, and not just from the external world. Observe loops or patterns in your life, repeated outcomes, relationships, difficulties, to see clearly where the subconscious has overridden the signal. You know those situations that repeat in your life? The same type of relationship that doesn't work out, the same challenges at work, or habits you try to change, but always go back to square one. This is not a coincidence. These are loops, patterns that emerge because your subconscious is sending signals that you're not hearing. The secret is to observe without judgment. It's not shame. It's not failure. It's information. It's your subconscious showing you where you ignored your intuition or where old patterns are still influencing you. When you realize this, you can reframe the discomfort. Instead of resisting or blaming yourself, see that discomfort as a sign that something needs to be adjusted. This way, you begin to align your choices with your internal signals and no longer with automatic habits or old fears. Micro trust. Start with low stakes signals to build confidence in following your intuition. Let's imagine you're learning to ride a bike. At the beginning, you don't just start pedaling in the middle of the street, right? You start slowly, maybe with training wheels, learning to balance and gaining confidence bit by bit. The same goes for intuition. It's called micro trust. Starting small, following internal signals that don't involve big risks, just small, everyday decisions. For example, choosing which route to take to work based on a gut feeling. Sending a message you feel you should send without overanalyzing it. Accepting or declining an invitation based on that inner feeling. These small actions act as internal evidence. They show you that trusting your intuition really works. And over time, bigger decisions become natural because you've already trained your internal radar. When you start living consistently by your inner compass, life shifts from effort and seeking to alignment and flow. Manifestation becomes more natural. You know when you're surfing, if you paddle against the wave, you waste energy. get tired quickly, and barely move. But if you let yourself be carried, aligning your movements with the force of the water, everything flows, and the ride becomes light, natural, and enjoyable. Living by your inner compass is exactly like that. When you make decisions guided by intuition, you stop fighting against life. You stop trying to force events or external signs. The excessive effort disappears. The flow begins to happen. And you know what's most incredible? Manifestation is no longer a distant thing you have to chase. It arises naturally because you are already aligned with who you are and what you desire. It's as if you finally stop rowing against the current and start navigating with the tide in your favor. Final reminder, you're not waiting for alignment. You are alignment. You are not chasing signs. You are the sign. Before we finish, I want you to hold this in your heart. You don't need to wait for the universe to align for you to act. You don't need to look for external signs to know if you're on the right path. The truth is powerful. You are the alignment. You are the sign. Everything around you, the universe, opportunities, people, responds in real time to your energy, your awareness, your trust in yourself. When you understand this, life stops being a race for confirmations and becomes a natural flow. You are not asking the world for permission. You are the permission, the compass, and the lighthouse all at once. So, take a deep breath, feel your own power, and know the universe is already dancing to the rhythm of your confidence. You just need to trust yourself. And the final question I leave is not for the universe, but for you. In your deepest silence, what if everything you needed to completely transform your life was the courage to finally listen to yourself?